Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Tuesday, June 30th, 2009. This morning I wanted to take a look at Web Velocity and just do a basic walkthrough of this since we put out the evaluation version for download yesterday. When you start it up, you're going to get a console window like this. You can pretty much ignore that. You do have access to the basic system tools here, but we're going to leave that be because the main place you do your work in Web Velocity is here in the browser itself. So if you look here, you have a bunch of menu options. You have a bunch of things that are loaded, which at this point is nothing because I'm starting. And this is different than the way most Smalltalk environments start up. Instead of this notion you have everything preloaded and you save an image, this is more like the way you do traditional software development. You save your work off in a repository, you load it in when you start, you publish it back out, and then you load when you start again. So you always start clean. You always have a fresh image into which you load things and start up. Down here are all the packages I have available that I could load into my image, and then over here I have documentation. So if you want to learn how things work in Web Velocity, you can get your basic introduction, application development, core library guides. Let's go to the introduction and see what's there. And this will tell you about VisualWorks, it'll tell you about Web Velocity architecture, so we can go there and we can take a look at the basics of how this is built. So we have here our application data is in a database. Glorp talks to that. We have our application, which is built on top of Seaside. So the Web Velocity application server consists of all of these pieces. So that's generally speaking the introduction to this, and it's showing you that pictorially and in graphics here. So we can always go to the top, go back here. So we have this little guide up here. We can go to the tools and take a look at how these things work. So we can go back here, take a look down here, look at Server Console, Launcher, Application Editor, and so on. Plenty of documentation on everything. When I want to go back to the beginning, just click here. I get back, and now let's say I wanted to go ahead and create a new application. So I'll go New Application, and let's just make this the simplest thing, Hello World. And I'm not going to make this a database app. I check there, and that'll make sure it's not a database application. And now I have my basic application. I can go in here and say I want a new component, and that would give me the ability to create something like Hello. I want to register it as an application, and I don't want to use the template. So now at this point I have something. I can go here, and that'll bring me back to the top here. This is where I would put in my introduction to what this application does. Like most developers, I'm going to leave it willfully blank. I'm going to go to Browse though, and I have immediately a link to my application, which at this point doesn't do anything because I haven't done anything with it. But I can go to the source code, and I can find my rendering, and I want a new method. So I want render content on. It's going to guess that's what I probably want. So I'm just going to put HTML text, hello world. And you notice here that I don't need to accept the method. Before I type that last backtick, it's showing me there's a problem syntax-wise here. And there's telling me, unmatched string quote, come to the end, put that in. It automatically compiles things for me as I type. So at any point that I reach syntactic correctness, my method is compiled for me. I don't need to take a menu action. I don't need to hit a hotkey. It's just compiled for me in the background. And at this point, if I go back to Browse, Hello World, there it is. And you can see down here the standard Seaside halos are all down here. So you have your general access to that stuff. So this is a Seaside environment with some goodies built on top of it. So that's about all I wanted to cover today. That's kind of a brief walkthrough of the environment. And I've got other things out in the video section for Web Velocity that walk through how to use the database tools. And I'll be covering a bit of that in the future as well. So we'll leave it there for now. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.